salutations.
Hey guys, welcome to the Morning Mayhem Show. I am Sam, and man, it's good to be back. I feel I'm a little out of my square today, but I don't know. I'll get it figured out. Oh, it's so good to be here. Just a lovely morning. I have my thumb is feeling better, I guess. I thought I was getting a little bit of an infection. They did give me some antibiotics when I went into the hospital originally. So I think it's fine. But I've been keeping it clean. Anyways, enough about that. I thought I would join you guys this morning just because I haven't done a morning show in so long. And I've kind of redid my studio a little bit. And I just wanted to test drive it. With this morning show. We're going to talk a little bit about Karen Reed this morning. We're on a verdict watch right now. You see it playing in the background. When we see that the jury comes in, we will break to that from whatever we're talking about. But it should be this morning. It's almost guaranteed that it'll be this morning. They asked a few questions yesterday. They've pretty much have said that they have found her not guilty on all the major charges, and they were just wondering a little bit about on the they call it OUI. They're probably operating under the influence. DWI, DUI. They just asked the judge if they did mark that, would that make her guilty of the included charges of the manslaughter and stuff? And the judge she's just such a bitch, man. She doesn't want to lead them in. She wants to make it as confusing as possible. It's obvious now that is for sure what she wants to do. And it's a pretty smart jury, and I think they're going to get it figured out. Anyways, that's the show. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Elon Musk, how wrong I was, how I blindly, and I've learned my lesson on this already before. I've learned my lesson on with Tommy Scoville, having that blind loyalty to someone that you want to be right, and that loyalty is to Trump. And I'm still a Trump supporter. That is my president. But I never looked into Elon Musk, like his history, his past, who he really is he who he says he is? He came over from the left to support Trump, and I thought that was amazing. I could give a shit about electric cars or about anything that he's ever done, but I liked what he was going to be doing with Doge and cutting our spending. Anyways, like an idiot, I blindly followed him, and that's on me. And I was wrong for supporting him without looking into him. And when people were trying to tell me, the negative things about him, I was like, no, that's all just, left-wing propaganda. You guys are misinformed. He's killing it. And come to find out, he's not even following through with what he said the progress was being made by Doge. That's not even talking about all the other bullshit that he's done and what's been going on with him. So anyways, we're going to be talking about that, and I'm going to admit that I was wrong about that. Anyways, I'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome to Morning Mayhem. We're going to join the Karen Reed motions 7th, I think it is Sammy time. Hey guys, how's it going?
Chevron there on the corner. I like 2 buildings down from that.
So when I get texts come in and I see something that's important, or dude brought me over there to be a plaything for their roommate.
to late night mayhem.
I am Mr. Peace, baby. I am Mr. Peace.
All right. Yeah, so anyways, let me just check in with you guys real quick before we I go on my little rantola. Let me get over here. Oh man, these are really fun. This is my new setup. I'm gonna be standing from now on when I do the show. I like it because none of you have ever seen me but when I talk, like when I'm with my bros or with friends and family, I'm pretty animated when I talk. And when I'm sitting down, I do feel a little confined. So we're going to give this a try. Also, it's probably better for my back than to be like, sitting down, kind of like hunched over, with the microphone and all the things. Anyways, we're going to give this a try. Hopefully it's not dizzying for you guys. If like I'm moving around too much, it might be. I might have to check myself on that. And like for things like this, I can monitor news or the trial, or I can have up graphics of things that we're talking about. Thank you for the 5x5 Eurosol things that we can be talking about. And yeah, man, it's pretty badass. I'm looking forward to doing it. That's what I've been doing these past couple days as I just been resting. I got my back injection yesterday, so hopefully my back will start feeling better again. My thumb is healing, and so I just been like piddling around the office trying to make things right, getting ready for Jen and I's show. Hopefully that will be this week. I know I said probably Monday, but after my accident, I just wasn't able to wrap my mind around things. So we'll see how we like this format. I don't know. We'll just see. But yeah, I am good trying to inject a little growth into the channel. I'm down. I'm just down, subscribers. And views. So like, I don't care if I have, 1,000 subscribers, as long as I can get some views and get the channel rolling out there. I am going to start advertising this channel on my other channel. That channel I haven't paid no attention to it, and it's growing leaps and bounds. So, and that's with me not even paying attention to it and uploading videos. Go figure. But let's do a little check-in. Hey, Jen Marie. Hey, Kim. How you doing, Kim? Kim, you're another person I want to talk to today later on. So I'll text you. Hey, ASAP Lizzie. How are you doing? Shell W. Good morning. Surviving together. Hey, Mac. How are you doing? Danette. How are you doing? Who else is here? I know I've seen some other people. Maybe that's it. That'd be all right. You are Soul. How are you doing this morning? Good to see you. I know it's late where you're at. And so I appreciate you hanging out. Lynn, are you still here, Lynn? I know that was yesterday. I thought they were going to do a verdict yesterday. They asked those questions. And I thought they were coming back. So I got the show ready to like drop in. This place was a mess. I'm glad I didn't do it because like I didn't even have like audio on my computer yet. Yeah, so I don't know. But so now my streaming station will be up here, up high. I found this raised up desk at Goodwill. It's like a desk you put on a desk so I can stand. I've always wanted to get one of those lifting desks. You know what I'm talking about? I've always wanted to get one of those. And they're not even that expensive. You can get them like at Costco for like $230. But they had this one at Goodwill, and it's pretty sturdy that you can adjust on top of a desk, and it's pretty badass. So I put that on top of my glass desk, and then over down here is just where I edit videos. And it's perfect. It's going to be perfect. And now my wife has rooms where she can come in and out to her closet, because I kind of had her closet blocked off because I took over our bedroom. Yeah, it seemed like a great idea at the time. It still seems like it's working. But how is everybody? I don't see James Collins here. I should have texted him. Hey, Blue Bayou, good to see you. Shell Dub, did I already say good morning to you? I'm gonna say good morning again. Hey, Shell Dub. Let's see. I guess that's it. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys have like been following any of the Elon Musk stuff. I was watching Candace Owen yesterday. I love Candace Owen. She's got some controversy, but no one's ever called her a liar. I know that. I've been called a liar more than she's ever been called a liar, and but I know she's not like on like team. She's not really on the right. She's not really on the left. She's kind of like she's kind of on the center, but she's totally down for truth. And anyways, everything I've always checked out everything that she's said for myself, because she always leaves like her source material, and it's always been spot on. She's never even like made something to be out more than what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna Samsplain effing Candace Owen, but I'm a whack job, man. I don't even know what. No wonder I've lost over 200 subscribers. Who wants to listen to me like digress, Samsplain Candace Owen? Nobody, not one person. Anyways, yeah. So, her and Ian Carroll did a show on Elon Musk yesterday, and I was just like, wow, man. And it's not even so much the recent stuff. It's like the stuff that I could have looked into before, like he even like right when he endorsed the president. I should have been like, what's he doing? What the hell is he doing over here? And I know the president used him a little bit, and good for him. Do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But giving him that much access to the government, I don't really know how much access he really had. You know, everyone's like saying, oh, he had access to all of our personal information. I mean, yeah, but what's he going to do with it? You know, I know there's smarter people out there than me that will tell you exactly what he would do with it. But common sense will tell you, like, he's not going to like steal. He's not going to, I don't think he took in a like big, like customer list is going to shoot him, out, sales promotions for Tesla or, donation links for SpaceX. I really feel like Doge, and the Doge team had our best interests at heart, and they worked their asses off. But they did overpromise a little bit. They said that, I can't remember what old boy said. What's his name? The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bestnet. The Treasury Secretary said that he hasn't even, he's promised trillions in savings, and he hasn't even shown even billions in savings. And that's a big difference, right? That's a ton of money. And when he confronted him on that, they got into a little scuffle. According to insider reports, Elon Musk physically assaulted Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent outside the Oval Office during a dispute over failed spending cuts. The trigger Bessent actually called Musk a fraud after failed to deliver on a promised $1 trillion federal cut, landing only on a speculative $160 billion. I guess what Bessent is saying is that he that was going to happen anyway, that there was no increase on the spending or the on the federal cut. Those cuts were already in place even before Musk. Anyway, called him a fraud, and that touched a nerve with Elon. That touched a big nerve with Elon. And why is that? Why would that? He's a billionaire. He's a businessman. He's a regular citizen. Why would his go-to be to fight him? So Bessent had to have touched a nerve, and maybe Bessent knew that. I don't know. But I have looked into a couple. So I basically Googled fraud and Elon Musk, and it just so happens Elon Musk has like a history of being called a fraud. like even like he took what's his name, the true founder of Tesla, took him to court to be able to say that he was a co-founder of Tesla for some reason. I I can't remember the exact details of that. But the deal is that the real founder was saying, no, you didn't found this company, I founded this company. And but Elon helped on some technology that's proprietary to Tesla, and fought him in court to be able to say that he was the founder also. And the other guy just doesn't care about the limelight, so he just stays in the back. His love and focus for the world is to really improve our emissions and to have like a solid electric car. Elon's is he wants to be the face of everything, and now it all kind of makes sense, right? How he jumped on the Trump bandwagon so he could be out there jumping around with Trump, and all the craziness that he does. It really didn't make any sense, right? Like how all of a sudden, like the entire world knew. I mean, everyone who knew who Elon was, but now like the entire world is like swinging off Elon's nuts, right? Basically, and that's a prison term for like like hanging on to someone for clout, or to be cool, or like just praising someone just so you can be in their graces. Anyways, I'm sure you guys got the reference. I mean, what else could it be, right? He and now it all makes sense. And now, him being called a fraud, I guess there was like this video game scandal where he like said, I don't know if I call it a scandal, but he said that he was like really good at this video game, and he hired this kid to play as him in this tournament, to show how to say it was him. And he was called out for being a fraud on that, and he freaked out and like tried to prove it, in real time, and kind of did, but kind of didn't. But yeah, so I think that's what it is. Why he like resorted to violence. Hey, look, I'm no stranger to violence. I've had things trigger me, especially in jail. Like nothing triggers me like that to go to violence, unless someone was like, harming my family or friends. But just like me as an individual, like a one-on-one with someone else, there's really not much you could say that would trigger me to like want to push you or punch you. That's just not the man who I am anymore. But back in the day, just the word bitch would make me want to fight. Like I would fight, because if you don't, then you are a bitch. But now that's just a word. It doesn't even really matter anymore. I don't even care if you have the intent to really like want to get me to fight. If you call me a bitch, and if it's not in jest, I'm just going to be like, all right, make me a bitch then, and of course they won't. And then that's that. I don't have to beat anybody up. I don't have to resort to the old me, the old me that that God has taken away, the Holy Spirit has taken away in my desires and what convicts me. So anyways, so yeah, so I think that's what kind of like is triggered him. And it just so happens that he possibly has an addiction. The New York Times came out and said that Musk carries around this like little pill box. And that, what did the New York Times say? They said that he's abusing ketamine and other drugs, but multiple insiders says his drug use has been long-standing and well-known. Candace reveals that Seth Dillon of the Babylon Bee once confirmed Musk's ketamine use long before any public articles surfaced. So, Special K is what the street name of ketamine is. They use it on animals and veterinary clinics, and I guess sometimes they use it on humans, but I think it's mostly like I've done ketamine one time, and it wasn't on purpose. Somebody gave me some and I didn't know what I was doing. It was like it was a guy, and he gave me the drug to kind of like roofie me. And I left. I didn't run out of the house, but I just kind of left. And I talked about a similar experience with Mac on Surviving Together when we did our show. But yeah, just addicts and addiction is a crazy thing. People do crazy shit. Anyways, Special K will kind of like you'll kind of disassociate from yourself. Not just your thinking, but it's like a feeling that you're like outside your body and nothing seems real. I couldn't imagine doing that like on a daily. But have you've seen him like in like when he was getting the key, like when Trump was like, saying, okay, yeah, you got to beat it. He gave him like this key and you could see him. He was like going like this, like making all these like crazy facial expressions. It was pretty nuts. But let's watch this this news thing. I haven't seen this, but it's about how Musk body checked Secretary Bessent in the White House.
All right, here we go. The White House addressing reports of a physical altercation between Elon Musk and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent earlier this year.
Bessent.
I certainly wouldn't describe it as a fist fight, Maria. It was definitely a disagreement. Although I was not there, I didn't witness it with my own eyes. I heard about it through secondhand reporting. But again, we've moved on from that. The president has moved on from it. And the entire administration is focusing on passing this bill.
Yep, but in the midst of Musk's public fallout with the president, our next guest says at least we're arguing over how and where to slash spending, pointing out that just 3 years ago, the only spending talk was about how much would we spend.
That's the bright
Wall
side,
Street Journal
sure.
editor James Freeman joins us now. So we know about the physical stuff and people get into that. We already knew they were yelling at each other, body check or not. Your thoughts about the issues that Elon brought up when he exited?
Yeah, well, I think Elon is angry in part because the cutting of the green subsidies went a little further than he wanted. Now, I don't want to knock Elon for that because I think he's really done the taxpayers a great service.
Absolutely.
Over the last several months trying to cut federal spending generally.
He overpromised.
I'm also not expecting him to be in a UFC match with Secretary Bessent anytime soon, and that's probably good for everybody. But yeah, the point I'm making only is, as you point out, the last time Washington did a reconciliation bill, that was 3 summers ago. That was the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. And this new big, beautiful bill is moving entirely in another direction. It's going to end up with the government spending less over the long term. The cuts are not as big as we would like. We hope the Senate goes even further because we obviously have a big debt and deficit problem. But overall, this is about restraining government, lower taxes, lower spending. And I think amid all this kind of personal conflict we've seen the last few days, I think for taxpayers, they should like the big picture in terms of the trajectory here finally turning around on government spending.
I just think for the administration, get people out there that know the bill, that can explain it in everyday terms. And OMB director does a great job, and so does Speaker Johnson. I want you to hear what he said about the fracas and about where they go from here.
Fracas.
Yes.
Look, I didn't go out to craft a piece of legislation to please the richest man in the world. What we're trying to do is help hardworking Americans who are trying to provide for their families and make ends meet. Those are the people that are going to be excited about what this legislation produces.
And that's what they got to do. It's 1,000 pages. Not many people can read 1,000 pages, except for the guys at the Wall Street Journal like you. So they got to put it into everyday terms. Democrats want a different argument. They're not with Elon. They want to just spend like crazy. So they don't even know how to attack except for saying it's a tax break for billionaires. So this is a really Republican on a Republican fight.
Yeah, and the details matter. And again, it would be great to get lower spending out of the Senate. But big picture, the heart of this is maintaining, simply not having a tax increase, but maintaining those great 2017 reforms that President Trump signed the last time he was in office.
Right.
By the way, a lot of this, I would say the heart of the bill is the president keeping campaign promises. Now, some of them I don't think do much for growth. And on policy, I'm not a big no tax on tips guys. I don't know why I always want to take care of my bartender, but I don't understand why he should get a different tax regime than other people. But basically, this is about growth. Tax Foundation says the economy long term is 0.8% larger after we do this. About 1 million more.
Oh, I want to pause this fool for a second. That dude just said, he's like, yeah, I want to tip my bartender, but I don't know why he should be in a different tax regime or whatever the F he just said. Look, generally, usually the person that are working for tips, they make below minimum wage. That's first. Secondly, they're usually single women, single moms, single dads, guys that are working 2 or 3 jobs, people that are trying to become actors that are, barely, making it. Not that I think that, this Hollywood scene deserves any attention or anyways, I don't want to get into that. That's just my history. Anyways, so yeah, he's absolutely wrong on that. He's that's definitely a neocon, or not even a neocon, more of a centrist viewpoint on the taxes for tips. Anyways, what the hell am I talking about right now? Let's get back to this real quick.
More jobs, preventing tax increases, more than $1 trillion in spending cuts. Government spends less than it would have in the absence of this bill. So very positive for growth. And it continues the really hopeful trend of the last several months, which is a smaller federal government and a larger private economy.
And we're going to find out about codifying the Doge cuts. They begin this week. So let's see.
That's right,
the 9.8 billion. Well, little by little, we'll put them into the budget. So then we'll see Doge get some tangible results. It's going to be exciting. And I know you want to talk about, too, you don't like the idea of the SALT deduction. And neither does a lot of people in Florida and Texas. So we'll see where this goes. Thanks so much. Go James Freeman. I appreciate it.
What's up, John?
Read his editorial in the Wall Street Journal. Thanks so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley.
I'm just watching, making sure we're monitoring the Karen Reed trial. Anyways, yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. Really what I wanted to talk about regarding that. Well, let me just finish with one of my talking points. Also, Elon was kind of tangled into that. On one of his tweets that he made against Trump, he said, "Oh yeah, Trump is in the Elon or the Epstein Files. That's why they haven't been released." I want to do a whole show on the Epstein Files and why I think they haven't been released. But I'll just kind of give you my viewpoint in a nutshell. I think basically they bit off a little more than they can chew. I feel like Epstein is in witness protection, that the government pulled him out of there. I think there's proof for that. I think Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, when they were accepting their appointments, that they made all these promises, not knowing what the real deal was, and then once they got it, and even Pam Bondi was caught saying it on a hot mic or an investigative, undercover microphone, whatever it was. She had said that, oh yeah, we just have every agent possible watching these videos. And they're making these lists of all the people that are either victims and or perpetrators. And like, there's just thousands and thousands of hours. And then to have Kash Patel go on Joe Rogan, when Rogan confronted him, and kudos to Joe, did I say Joe Morgan? Joe Rogan, for holding his feet to the fire, and Kash Patel visibly lying to Joe, and Joe didn't call him out on being a liar because Joe's not confrontational like that, especially not with the FBI, an FBI director. But yeah, Kash was just like, I'm gonna stay in my lane. That you guys got everything. There's nothing to see here, because I think he is in witness protection. I think eventually there will be some indictments, and and I do, I think that there's probably some big names that Epstein was working for the government, and they were using his like little weird fetish ring, whatever, disgusting pedophile bullshit to entrap these people, not to entrap them. I mean, they trap themselves. And that it's just too big to reveal. Right. And I know that, as being a citizen, I don't accept that as being the right thing, but I think that's what's happening. And I don't want to like be too conspiratorial. Think, oh man, where's my tinfoil hat? When I was at the hospital, they had these tinfoil hats, and the nurse gave me one because I told her I do a podcast. And when I talk about conspiracies, I want to wear my tinfoil hat. Anyways, damn it. Yeah, next time. But anyways, I don't want to get too far in the weeds about the conspiracy of it all, but I do believe that's what has happened. There we go. That's nice. So, yeah. But anyways, a photo has resurfaced of Elon with Ghislaine Maxwell, who we all know is sitting in prison right now for being a groomer, recruiter for Epstein. And it shows Musk with Ghislaine, and journalist Whitney Webb has reported possible deeper links. Musk's proximity to tech billionaires in the Epstein network is under scrutiny, even if details are still a little murky. So, I'm sure the Justice Department has gotten a late night memo from Trump, regarding Musk. They like look into that, see if there's anything there, because I know when that Trump has no involvement with Epstein. I know that. If it's not just in my heart, everything I've seen, like the 2 times that he was on the Lolita Express, the airplane that Epstein used to fly people to his island, he was with his family. So, he's not going to be out there banging little underage girls, with his wife and kid, along for the ride. And I think even Ivana was in one of the pictures. But anyways, that's me. I just wanted to bow out with my support with Elon. I do have an Elon Musk black Trump hat. I am not going to burn that hat. It was a gift from Caddy Connie and Loudmouth Linda. And thank you again, ladies, for the wonderful gift. I really appreciate it. But I just won't wear it with as much pride anymore. You know what I mean? So that kind of sucks. But I still will. I still will wear it. So I was hoping we would be getting some action on the Karen Reed thing. I did want to talk about, I found this new church my wife and I are going to. It's crazy. I have a friend. I went to a Bible study there one time, and it was like in their gymnasium, the Bible study was, and I thought that's where they were that's where the actual services were. And I'm used to going to not like big glamorous churches, but churches that are like an actual church building, not like a church inside. A church can be anywhere in a living room, but I'm kind of a snob when it comes to that. And I just want like a nice, clean, chapel. Anyways, he used to always invite me to come to this church. And a few weeks ago when Marianne and I were beefing and we were really struggling, and we needed just to be away from each other, I accepted his invitation to come to this church. And of course, when I went, the sermon was on, relationships and God-given, unions from God, and how we respect those. And that's exactly what I was going through, and how like I need to change my heart on the whole thing, and to work to save the my marriage at no cost. And it was just, the service wasn't held in that gymnasium. I thought that was the whole church. They had a separate chapel that was pretty nice, and their worship team was pretty good. And so I was sold. I got a good feeling. I met the pastor. He was an awesome guy. And so we found a new church to go to. Hazley hasn't gone to the Sunday school, and really she is kind of like the final say. I know that sounds crazy, but we really want her to be comfortable, within reason. We don't want to force her to go to a Sunday school that she doesn't feel comfortable in. And I will change my church if that isn't clicking. So hopefully she does have some friends there that she's known that she's gone swimming with. So hopefully we pray that she likes the Sunday school too. That way it's just an all around great fit for us. So yeah, I just wanted to share that bit of good news. So we're pretty excited, and you guys will see when I'm going to church and consistent Bible studies, I'm just a different, I just glow a little bit differently. And it's pretty cool. Doesn't mean I don't swear less or anything like that. I don't really swear that much at all, but I do swear, and I am convicted about it. But sometimes an F-bomb is just needs to happen. I'm not going to hell for it. Let's check in with Vinny Politeri with the
they give you a little bit of space, but it's very crowded here. There's a level of jubilance and noise, but like I told Julie Grant, when I hear the noise, Ted, I know nothing is happening. It's when everyone goes silent.
Where's James going?
A moment. That means that either the O'Keefe
family
or Karen Reed and her defense team and family are entering the courtroom or have arrived. That's when everyone goes completely silent. The other thing, Ted, are the comparisons. A lot of questions. People ask me, is this bigger than OJ? Is this bigger than OJ? And I'm like, well, that was OJ. That was a huge
that was
case.
A little different.
But the longer you're here, the more you wonder, are we getting to that level? Well,
you never get to OJ. You can never get to OJ. You could get to some other ones.
I know. But Ted, look at this. They are calling Karen Reed's team the Dream Team now. So it would be Dream Team 2, right? Dream Team 2. So while we can make the comparisons one way, I think the feelings of folks are that they've got a dream team of attorneys representing Karen Reed. The question is, will the results be the same as the original dream team? And that's what we're waiting to hear from inside the courthouse from those 12 jurors.
Yeah. Oh, I love that T-shirt. Hey, listen, both sides had versions of a dream team of lawyers. The lawyering in this case has been through the roof, excellent, bar none. Obviously Jackson, Yannetti, even got a little action there on the defense team, and Alessi, boy, when they unleashed him, it was, the pit bull was working the courtroom and nothing like it. And then Hank Brennan over on the Commonwealth side, unbelievable. Now, what is your feeling, Vinny, about these questions, and specifically if we come back with if we found her not guilty on 2, they said not guilty in that question. They didn't say if we've come to a decision on 2, does that mean if we can't get the 3rd that the whole thing's a wash? That to me was a real tell. Is that the feeling you have as well?
What's interesting, and again, I said we're in the sidewalk, so I mean, there's a lot of people that are streaming, and you kind of blend in. There's so many people. So to me, and I was explaining this, I sat on a jury.
Hey, Ben, good to see you, brother.
By the jury, if you send out the words "not guilty," you know
Ben,
it's going to have an
in the house.
You know it's going to have an on both sides, right? I mean, from John O'Keefe's family, a gut punch, right? And then
welcome to the
Karen
After
Reed's
the Bars
side,
podcast, and this is Late Night Mayhem with Sam Yarbrough.
Are we close to perhaps walking out of that courtroom and getting out from under these allegations and these charges? So I have to think they didn't specify which counts, and I think that's what they were keeping secret. But I have to take them at their word, right?
Yeah.
We could say it's a hypothetical. Is it a hypothetical, though? I even question whether it's a hypothetical. because I think it comes down to
That was just for you,
vernacular.
Ben.
It comes
I
down
don't know
to
why.
how we speak. Like, if I'm standing on the sidewalk right now and someone bumps into me, you're going to see him, right? If someone bumps into me here on the sidewalk, should I tell him to stop, right? That's sort of a theoretical, but I am getting bumped into a little bit. It's not a big deal, but it's actually happening. So I don't know if it's the vernacular. Like, if we find her not guilty, I don't know if the vernacular is, if we found her not guilty. Like, if we find her guilty, not guilty on 2 counts here, and what is it? Right. I think they were asking for clarity on how to report a verdict.
Was Vinny just talking shit about him, people bumping into him?
How do we tell you? How do we communicate it to you?
He
Because
was.
the first jury didn't know how to
Scoot
do
over
it.
then, fool.
The first jury failed that, and it wasn't their fault. It's the fault of the instructions. It's the fault of the law in Massachusetts. It's the fault of the way these verdict slips are put together. It's the fault of how the lesser includeds are dealt with in Massachusetts. There's no clarity. If 2 juries in a row don't understand something, it's not the jurors, folks. If 2 juries, 24 people who didn't know each other, both come to the same conclusion that things aren't clear, guess what? Things aren't clear, so you've got to change them. So hopefully the amended verdict slip makes it easier for this jury to understand what they have to do and how they have to fill out the verdict slip and how they have to communicate what they've agreed to behind closed doors. Because the first jury didn't know how to do it.
Absolutely. There's something wrong. And this is a second example of it. And it's astounding that it would happen again. Now, I don't think it's going to go all the way and happen again. That will be prevented in terms of them saying, well, we're deadlocked because we couldn't figure out the third charge. That will be remedied if need be at the time, because the judge won't let that happen again, but it is astounding. Let's get a break. Then he's going to stick around. He's going to meet some more people as we all sit and wait.
Hey, thank you, Auntie Monkey Pants, for the super chat. My son says when going to church, going to go get right, going through the week, we get a little out of sorts, but Sunday we go to church and get right again. That is perfect. That is perfect. That is exactly why I think I'm a little brighter. I'm a little, I have a different skipped my step when I go to church on Sunday. And then with me, because I'm such a stress ball whack job, right? And I say that out of love for myself. I really do. I like to check in on Wednesday too. If it's not a service, at least a life group or a Bible study. And then that'll get me okay until Sunday. I know some churches have like a Saturday service, a night service, or like a show or music or worship or something. I do get invited to a lot of those. I generally don't go to a Saturday thing, not out of like me not wanting to be at church, but it's usually a family night that, that we do other things because we work all week but yeah, absolutely, Auntie Monkey Pants, and good to see you, and thank you for the super chat. Your support is always appreciated. Thank you so much. Now, speaking of support, I want to thank everybody who has supported the channel these last few months. I wouldn't be able to do it if you guys hadn't done it. You guys know my story. I'm not going to sad fish, here talking about, oh, I'm retiring and, I can't do that. A buddy of mine, because I was explaining sad fishing to him. And when I hurt my thumb, he's like, oh man, he's like, that's perfect, right? Because you can talk about your thumb and how you can't work for the next month. And because, you guys know I have a construction job now. My new boss is not happy. Like, he's not even returning my texts right now. And he's a friend, but he's not happy because he's got jobs, and he let somebody go because I came on, and not because he wanted to get rid of this guy. He was a drunk and just was really aggressive towards my boss. My boss is just a little guy, and he was trying to punk him out. And then when I came to the job, that all shut down. And then the next day he quit because he knew he wasn't going to get away with me there. So it was almost like my boss hired a security guard. It really was. It was funny. Because I get the job, and he's walking around grumpy, and I get there, he's just like, Okay, I'll go find it. And it took all of his fucking bully spirit away. Because why? Here at After the Bars, we bully bullies, right? We bully bullies. We are the, I say we, because we're not all Christians here, but you know, me and my fellow Christian brothers and sisters, we are the new, what were the Crusaders? We're the new Crusaders. And we don't let people get bullied, especially little guys that are trying to help people out by giving them work so they can provide for their whatever family. But this guy was just a lonely, angry drunk and thought he could get away with bullying my boss. Anyways, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, so my buddy's like, "Oh man, that's perfect, man. You're gonna rake it in." I was like, "No, no, I'm not gonna come on this show and be like, well, guys can't work." No, I can still find other ways to make money. I don't know what right at this time, but I know Kim has some ideas, and we need to promote her thing still. Sorry, Kim, I haven't gotten to that. Just just a lot going on with her providing security, off-duty police officers security for businesses. I've tried to think of friends that would need security like that. And I've racked my brains to try to, find, but so if any of you guys know anyone that might need security for their business with educated, trained off-duty police officers, please let us know, and I'll forward that information to Kim, and she will dial it in, and I'll have more information on that today. My hand to God, I will have more information on that, and I'll come on and do a quick show about that info. Trying to see what they're talking about, and let me just get some volume on the TV here. Oops. That's inside the courthouse. Outside the courthouse, people are. I'm just gonna listen to that. Hopefully that doesn't come through the microphone. I don't think it does. But yeah, let's go to the chatterooskies. Hey, Joe Mama, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. See, Ben's here now. What do we got here? Jen, come on. Yay, sad fishing. Let's both do it. Sam, kidding. I know, right? Trust me, I want to do it. I do. But I know I can share my life without being sad fishing. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to work. I can't even stretch skin to do a tattoo. I was supposed to finish my wife's tattoo this week, and I can't do it. She took a week off not to get her tattoo, but that was part of the motivation for her taking a week off, was so I could finish her leg, and now I can't even do that. So, yep, I'm just all around broke dick on the internets. We got to be careful out here on the internets. I seen a thing. I think was it Knife Hoarder that played a video of this person that was talking about sad fishing, and their description of sad fishing was pretty funny. Their description of sad fishing didn't even talk about oh yes, yeah. I do have a I have a thank you, Joe Mama, for that advice. I do have a it's a donation link. It's through Square. And I also I have Venmo. I think I did a banner. I think it's in my normal banner. Let me see. No, I thought I had a banner. No, I guess I don't. But yeah, in my channel description, I have my Venmo and my donation link. A few people have used it before. Gaylin has used it. Auntie Monkey Pants has used it, and it's been really easy for them to tip the show or donate to the show. It's pretty awesome. I can never find the link though to share it. But yeah. Let me see if I can just pull that up real quick.
Involuntary manslaughter. They had gotten past manslaughter, and they were down to involuntary manslaughter, one of the lesser included. And they didn't understand how to do it.
What do you guys think about doing the Coberger trial? I wasn't going to cover the Coberger trial, but there's been some evidence that might be pointing away from him. So now I'm interested. If he's guilty, he's guilty. Just convict him and put his ass in prison. I don't want to hear about how he killed those young ladies, those college kids. I really don't. I don't want to hear details. I don't want to hear his defense. But if there is like real evidence that shows that he possibly had nothing to do with it, or that he wasn't alone, I'm all about trying to convicting the other people that are involved and that are guilty. Okay, let me see if that's right here. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm going to paste it into the comments. This is my tips and donations link. And I'm just, because some of you who have wanted to give me, it could be $1. But if you don't want me to share it with YouTube, you can use this link. And even if it's, like I said, yeah, even $1. But if you are on a fixed income, please do not donate. Do not donate. And I don't even care if you have a little bit extra this month. If you're on a fixed income or Social Security or disability, please don't donate anything to me. God will provide, and I just I appreciate you just subscribing. I really do, because that is perfect. Oh yeah. So, anyways, the sad fishing thing that night I think it was Night Porter played. They didn't say anything about money. They were like sad fishing for subscribers. So, and that was the original true sad definition of sad fishing. If you're on here, just like, oh yeah, whatever, it had nothing to do with money, and it was everything to do with subscribers. But I can see how it would eventually morph into that once they started super chats and things like that. But really, who really comes out in the end of that? YouTube, they know what they're doing. Yeah, they're trying to help their creators to be able to create so there's more content on their platform. Yes, but I mean, they take what, 30%, 40%? I can't remember. I think 40%. But that's cool. They got to do what they got to do. Still just kind of monitoring this. But anyways, also, Elon also, one of the other reasons why he got into it with Trump, and I'll just talk about this real quick, is that he had proposed that he use what's his name? He nominated Jared Isaacman for NASA, but Sergio Gore, who is I can't remember his position. Anyway, Sergio Gore encouraged Trump to shoot it down because he believed that it was all for data acquisition via NASA to gain an edge in the AI arms race that is going on between Musk's is it called Gork? Is it called Gork and Chat GPT? They are really literally in a head-to-head race. And I heard Elon talk about Gork. Is it Gork? Damn it, I can't remember. I think it's Gork. Talk about Gork on Joe Rogan, and he said, he's like, oh yeah, we're a little behind ChatGPT, but we're gonna, surpass them here pretty soon. Yada yada yada, and it's supposed to be all free. And anyways, the other guy who's actually working on Gork, who's like the head of Gork, of their technology development or whatever, research and development, he ended up charging people for it. Anyways, I've used both, and I don't think Gork is even a little bit as good as ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just, they took the lead and they're just running away with it. Gork sucks. Oh, that's right. I said it. I used Gork just because I was just a huge Elon fan. And I knew it sucked. Sam, can we talk about the OnlyFans person, Bonnie Blue? Yeah, I know a little bit about that. We sure can, James Collins. And I have been marking some of the other starred comments, guys, as I've been watching the chat. I know I've missed a few, but come in. But James Collins wants to talk about porn for a second. He doesn't, but he does definitely want to talk about it. So James Collins Care says, comment, Sam, can we talk about the OnlyFans person, Bonnie Blue, and how people saying she was a man and a plant to help degrade society? This is what I know about Bonnie Blue. This is all I know about Bonnie Blue for real, is that she was kicked off of OnlyFans because another OnlyFans chick said that she's destroying the platform because she's having like these, and I'm sorry guys to even use this like this terminology, but because she was like having like these gangbangs where she's taking on like 1,000 guys, in one day or whatever. And then it went to 2,000, and OnlyFans was okay. OnlyFans was okay with 1,999 guys, but when she said 2,000, they said, "Oh no, you're degrading our platform." And the girl that was against it, and I watched a thing on it. It might have been Candace Owen, or it was Jesse on Fire. That the other girl said, and this is crazy. The other girl said, "Oh, she's ruining the platform because this platform is for us, is trying to empower women to make a good living and become rich." Look, the only way you're becoming rich on OnlyFans is to be exploited. It's not empowering any women. I have daughters who work very, very hard at what they do, and they're all self-employed young ladies. I mean, they're in their 30s, except for Hazley, of course. And they've never, as far as I know, have never done OnlyFans. And I'm not judging anyone that's doing OnlyFans. If that's what you need to do to survive, I guess do it. If that's all you know. But hopefully God has got someone in their life working on their heart to bring them to the revival that's happening. But OnlyFans is definitely not empowering women. It's making women rich, but there's a difference there. And I think she's got that a little bit confused. But anyway, she complained. OnlyFans finally blocked Bonnie Blue's. She can't make a living on OnlyFans anymore, and she'll just start her own thing. But don't get it twisted. I can't remember the girl's name. Don't get it twisted, little girl. You're doing the same thing she is, but you're just not doing it in such a grand, grotesque way. But it's still, porn is porn. It's disgusting. I had a porn phase when I was younger, and even as I got older, I seen no. it had no value in my life. And that's before I was saved. Like I didn't enjoy watching it. I didn't use it to, please myself. It just wasn't a thing. But my libido is a thing of the past anyway. So that's probably TMI. My wife will tell you. Yeah. I'm surprised she hasn't left me. But anyways, that's all I really know. James, you're talking about like Bonnie Blue, how people are saying she was a man in a plan to help degrade society. Like a greater conspiracy that they're using her to, degrade society by having these big gangbangs. I don't know. That sounds a little diabolical. Who would gain from that to degrade society? Now it is degrading, but I think God has society under control. For the most part, he's going to let happen what he wants to let happen. So it's obvious he wants to let things like that happen for his greater purpose, whatever that is, but yeah, God lets it, Satan can't make things happen or beat God when it comes to sin and the world. Just read the book of Job. The only thing Satan can do is what God lets him do. So, yeah, it used to be stripping. Now it's OnlyFans. Yep. And good, but I think the girls that I think that make the most money on OnlyFans are the girls that present themselves to be like that weird, barely legal underage, weird stuff, like where they pretend to be underage, so pedophiles can get their jollies off. And that's disgusting. But unfortunately, those are the girls that make the most money on OnlyFans, and people that are having like sex with their partner on OnlyFans. That's what people do then. So that's a little more than stripping, but you're right. It used to be stripping. And now why would you strip if you could do an OnlyFans? It's private. It's, there's less opportunity to be, hurt physically, I guess, but what else is going on? Any other tips on topics? Hey, someone forgot to hit the thumbs up. Thanks, Jermama. Everybody, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna do a like an intro where I'm asking if everyone to hit the like button if you like it. If you don't like it, hit the not like button. I'm fine with that. Any interaction with the content helps in a weird way. But yeah, hitting that like button really, really helps. And if you could hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and if you've watched the show more than a few times, please, I'm trusting you to hit that subscribe button. And that'll be our deal that we have together here. We'll shake on it. If you watch the channel more than like 2 or 3 times, please hit subscribe. And that's our deal. That's my pretend shake. I'm just going to keep doing it. Fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Here, let me find the stuff that I've starred. Cat K says, I fully believe Elon is on K. I also haven't forgotten all the party stories between Elon and Amber Turd. I still trust President by man-child Elon. Yeah, I still trust the president too. Trump used him for what he needed to use him for, and he succeeded mostly, right? I believe he has. And then Trump's like, beat it. I don't need your little blah, 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 yapping in the background, saying, oh no, you need to, have this guy be in NASA and, run NASA and you need to do this and do that. But now, if you look at the, let me see if I can find something at the, here, I'll just search for Elon on X. He's basically asking for forgiveness. And, gee, I wonder why. Probably because he's about to get all the, oh, here we go. I'm a beast. He says right here, oh man, you guys can't read that. Maybe I'm not a beast. He says right here, Elon Musk now says he regrets his tweets about Trump last week, which means that A, he's scared of losing. And this is by Scary Larry, by the way. I love Scary Larry. A, he's scared of losing his fat government contracts. And B, he realized he admitted to stealing the election for a known pedophile. Not to worry, I have included them here for posterity. He's not a known pedophile. So sorry, Scary Larry. I am unfollowing you now. Here we go. Nearly Donald Trump Daily News. Nearly half of Americans aren't fans of Elon. If you're in his corner, drop a red heart or a thumbs up. Elon Musk lost a fortune while leading efforts to streamline the U.S. government. Put a thank you if you appreciate. What? Because protesters started destroying Teslas? How did he lose a fortune? That's what I want to know. How did he lose a fortune? What else? If you redraw the Elon Musk is the greatest modern time genius. No, I don't. Baron Trump. Oh, it's a parody, Baron Trump. No, nobody should drop a thumbs up on that. But I used to think he was autistic. I don't think he's autistic. I think he's a drug addict. Like now that I know that, everything I see about him, he just looks like he's high. Anyways, let's because we're watching the Karen Reed stuff. I just want to have that just in case. But thank you, Cat K. I really appreciate you. James Collins, I ended up in a K hold before, not fun. I was like 16 years ago. Yeah, what he's talking about, when you do special K, and if you do too much, I always thought it was called a K hold, but whatever it is, when you do GHB, you can get in a hold. You do too much and you kind of just get in this weird, like, I get nauseous, but it's just like this weird, like, you're kind of like too cold, you get too hot, everything's just kind of spinning and you can't get out of it. I don't think I've ever been in a K hold, but I've been in a G hold, which is GHB, and they are not fun. They are not fun. Kim, I would like to see them live 6 months on the waitress salary. Yeah, Kim, absolutely. They couldn't do it. They couldn't live a month on a waitress's salary. And then Joe Mama says, please consider doing a pay. Oh yeah, thank you so much. And Sam, the only fancy. I probably missed a bunch of comments. Hey V, how's it going? V goes, everyone screws up and doesn't matter who you are, position you hold, or how much money you make. That's right. That's right, V. It's good to see you, V. Hopefully everything's going good with you and your husband and family. You are a constant on our prayer list. He really only lost $270 million on an election. He could have used that to help homeless people. Well said, Jen. Well said. Yep. Well said. Could you imagine having that just dropped into any state? Let's just say, what's that divided by 50? 270, 4, 5, say $5 million to every state's homeless problem. Yeah, that's not a ton of money in the grand scheme of things, but just imagine I do $5 million in my state, in Montana. It's not my state. I'm a plant. In California, it wouldn't, all I'd do would be buy the homeless more drugs. But in my state, $5 million would be a game changer for our homeless. Absolute game changer. On the plus side, Amber Turd, LOL, is a great introduction to histrionic personality disorder, and she is far from the only one you'll run into on YouTube. Yeah, that's right. That is right. Speaking of histrionics, I don't know what I was going to say there. Yes, I think of it all the time, but the top 1% will never help those below the poverty line. No, it's always all of us down. And you guys know that like homelessness is like one of my number one. Although I haven't talked about it in a long time, I got to change that. But if you watch any of my first shows, like everything was about homelessness and suicide and drinking and driving. But really homelessness was like every Sunday after church, I would go down to our homeless shelter and I would do just like a quick Bible study, big book, AA meeting type thing. But I had to stop doing it because every once in a while I would get down there. And I'm going to start some of your comments, Cat K. Is that like almost every other Sunday, and there was like 2 or 3 Sundays in a row, I would go down there, and the people that run the homeless shelter here in town wouldn't let me come in because they found drugs inside the shelter, or they found weapons, things like that. And they finally were just like, can't come in today. And I was like, you know what? I can't keep coming down here if I'm not allowed to go in. And I would tell them like, look, I don't care if there's weapons. I'll be okay. Trust me. I'll be okay. Because there was a few people there that really appreciated me coming in to talk about God. But yeah, I need to reignite that that into my jam. Hey Jen, did you ever send me Lindsay's phone number? I think you told me she was going to call. I think she might have, but I was like either camping or something. I remember seeing a call from, is she from Canada? Yes. Agreed. Thanks. I know. V, I'm a whack job. You know that. What comment did I just start? Kat says he lost something around 45 billion a few days after his ex stunt. Wow. But I mean, that's the game you play. That's the game you play, buddy. That's on him, Okay, cool. Yeah. After we do our show, I think we should all do a show. Maybe Misha or something. I bet both of whose kids are Elon's. Yes. And I was homeless. I mean, and I don't count couch surfing on your friend's couch. Yeah, you're homeless and that counts. Yes, you are technically homeless, but you haven't burnt all your bridges, and you have friends that'll let you couch surf, or they have a spare bedroom, or friends that'll help give you a hand to lift you up to get you to the next chapter or season of your life, right? But there was a time when when they made me come to live in Montana, where I was homeless for a second, and I got frostbite on my feet, and they sent me to the hospital, and I wanted to kill myself. I was going to throw myself in front of a moving car. I had frostbite on my feet. I was walking in the snow. It was like a foot of snow. I was walking. My feet were so cold. I had these cheap prison boots on. They're like plastic, right? And I got frostbite on my, your second toe from your big toe. Well, mine sticks out just a tiny bit, like just a tiny bit. It's not like a deformity, or not that it would be a deformity, but you know what I mean? It's not like anyways, the tip, I got frostbite on, and so anyways, the cops sent me to the hospital. And I thought they were going to do a 5150. They were going to hold me because I was kind of like suicidal, but they were just like, oh no, just put him back out there. They like basically saved my toes, tips of my toes, and then just put me back, out on the street. Didn't give me any information on, shelters or anything like that. But I did run into a guy that there was like this emergency shelter. So I went to the emergency shelter, and I was broken, man. I was broken. This was just not too long ago, really. Yeah. And I finally called my brother. My brother didn't know. I called my brother, and he was so mad at me. He's like, why didn't you call me? And I was fortunate enough to have a brother he sent me money to get an apartment and to get off my feet. And, a year later, I, had a tattoo shop. But while I was homeless, I would definitely say I was treated poorly. And once you like announce to someone, in whatever situation it is, that you are homeless, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, but more times than not, you would see like all of a sudden they can smell you. You know what I mean? You're right. You're demonized. Yeah, I felt that. I really did. I have to be careful because everything's attached to this table. And it does break my heart. I've never, ever demonized. Check this. This is a good story. So when I was living in Hollywood, ooh, Texas Heat. No, you're very welcome, McWilliams. You don't ever have to thank me for that, but I appreciate it. You've been on the replay crew. Yep. I always see when you comment, and I appreciate it. So what story was I going to tell? Oh yeah. So when I was living in Hollywood and working in the industry, I told you guys I lived in this house, and it was called the Skid Pad. And one of the guys, it was either there or somewhere else, I can't remember, but I'll just say it was the Skid Pad. One of the guys went out and was making these videos where he was interviewing homeless people, and he was just being super disrespectful. They weren't jumping homeless people. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those disgusting videos where people are like, they'll like, it's called like bum bashing or something. They'll just like get out and just start fighting a bum. And I don't even like that word bum, but that was the name of the videos. And, but he wasn't doing that, but he was going out and interviewing homeless people, asking them questions. And this is before YouTube. So I don't even know what they were using it for, just their own entertainment. And, this homeless guy, they had a video of this homeless guy, and he was like, they were like, hey, can I ask you some questions, give you $5? And, of course they're like, yeah, sure. And, but they were just asking inappropriate questions. And sorry, I was watching that for a second. And he was like, do you know you're picking your nose right now? Because the guy was just going like this or something. And for some reason, it set me off, man. I flipped out, dude. I was like, you know what? You could be fucking homeless someday. And I'd never been homeless at that point. I mean, I was pretty privileged at the time, you know. Dude, I lost my mind, dude, because the homeless guy just went like, oh, yeah. Sorry. You know, he apologized to him. You don't have to apologize to this idiot. And this was one of my roommates. Anyways, I flipped out, man. I flipped out. He was like, woo, bro. I was like, dude, don't bring that shit into the house, man. And that was back in the day when the camcorders were like big, you know, like a VHS tape. But yeah, that shit pissed me off. What? Did you ask me something, Ben? Who played Hannibal Lecter? Keep wanting to say Tim Robbins, but I know the Hannibal Lecter was what's his name? Anthony Hopkins. Oh, everyone already answered it. What are you guys talking about? Shall I have known many people who have been beaten? Yeah, dude. Oh man. My instant thought is to be like, I would love to catch someone beating up a homeless guy, but no, because then a homeless guy would be getting hurt, just so I can hurt somebody. But if I ever did see it, I would, dude. Oh my God. It's one of those things like, I don't want to see it, but if I do, man, I can't wait. Yeah. I will destroy somebody. Yeah, you guys, I love the conversation you guys are having right now. Why did you want to know who played Hannibal Lecter with a that's a terrible Anthony Hopkins impersonation. Clarice. Yeah, I can't really do a good impersonation of that. Who Ben, why were you asking about Hannibal Lecter? Oh, Ben. Why am I getting relatable Reese notifications? That is weird. Why am I getting relatable Reese notifications? Anyways, all her things are like cryptic, so people click on it. You know the story, like she's going to talk about Tommy or something like that. I don't know. I haven't watched her in a while, so I don't know what the hell she's talking about anymore. But I can almost guarantee you she's talking about Tommy in some way, and she's talking about how she doesn't do drama and that she doesn't hang around with haters. Promise you that's what she's talking about. Understand is that getting yourself out of homelessness isn't one of the hardest things a person can. Yeah, that is so true. Jen Marie says, what people understand is that getting yourself out of homelessness is one of the hardest things a person can do because there is no help. And in my experience, in talking with homeless guys, when I was doing those groups downtown, was that a lot of them don't want to be not homeless because when they're at home, and this is sad. This isn't me blaming them. Is that when they have a home and that they are interacting with their family, and I'm like it could be their siblings that live in the same town, that they're held accountable for their own actions when it comes to like addiction, right? And they're like, this one guy, he was like, yeah, he's like, when I'm not homeless and I'm drinking all day, my brother always gives me shit about it, and I just didn't want to hear it anymore. Or my kids always come over to say how bad of a person I am because all I do is drink all day, instead of driving them to an AA meeting or something. But, a lot of times, especially alcoholics, man, they just don't want to get sober. I don't know what it is about alcoholism. I think it's because it's not illegal. It's pretty inexpensive. And it's like 1 out of 2 that can kill you, right? The withdrawals. So it just gets so bad. I have a friend who died from alcoholism, and he was one of those drunks that would just like drink and drink and drink and drink and drink, would just binge until like he didn't know where he was, and he just oozed from alcohol. And we were in treatment in Venice Beach together, and him and I were the house leaders, so like, the morning groups, we would lead the morning group, the check-in group, make sure everyone slept okay, and then we would lead the nighttime group. And then we took care of assigning the chores, and it was him and I. And we would, I always thought coordinators, we were the house coordinators. I always thought that because he would tell us stories, and I would just be like, whoa, I didn't know alcoholism was like that. Like that was a certain face of alcoholism. And, he's like, yeah, I know if I drink, I will be dead. He's almost died like a bunch of times. He's been hospitalized for alcohol withdrawals like 100,000 times. And I had heard that he had started drinking again. And I always told myself, man, reach out to him, go check on him, take him to a meeting or something. And I never got around to it. And I'm not blaming myself for his death, but he ended up dying. And, he died like on the street, homeless and drunk. And he just didn't want to live. So there was some mental health there that he needed to work on more before, to help with that compulsion to drink. And it's just sad. But a lot of guys don't, that's their fear of doing better, is that they're hopeless about their addiction and about their alcoholism. So they feel like if they have a house, they're just going to get more ridiculed than they are as being homeless. And that says a lot. If you fear having a home and being connected with your family and being held accountable to your family more than being homeless, and all the ridicule and demonization and judgment you get from that, that's a pretty bold statement, right? I don't think there's a bolder statement out there than that fear. So a lot of times, and I don't know what the solution is to that, except for going into therapy, getting a therapist, more than just a 28 stint in treatment. Well, this treatment we were in was 4 months, but even more than that, like what he needed was something more long-term. And they didn't do a lot of mental health. They said they did, but they really didn't. They just got the money from Medicaid and kept you there as long as they could. And like, oh, you're cured, you graduated, and they send you on out. And you either did or you didn't. Their aftercare sucked, and they didn't follow up. If you didn't go to your aftercare, there was no consequences if you didn't go to your aftercare. Like for me, there needs to be legal consequence. When I'm in relapse mode or drinking mode or drug mode, and I go to treatment and there's no aftercare, the aftercare is where the real work happens. Maybe that's an overstatement. But the aftercare is where the success happens. How about that? Most of the real work, or a lot of the real work, does happen when you're in the inpatient. But that aftercare, your treatment plan moving forward, when you leave treatment, that's where you either succeed or fail. And if you don't have like a wheel of support that is like on point, meaning family, meetings, a therapist, medications, if you need meds, like I need a medication and I don't take it anymore. And everyone's begging me to take it because I do still have like a tiny bit of psychosis. But it just makes me too drowsy. Like if I was taking it, I wouldn't be here right now talking the way I'm talking, in pretty good spirits, or maybe I would after a while, but for the first month or so, I'd just be like, hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, let's talk about Elon today, and that's, that's not me. That's like, this is me, like the manicky, crazy me. So anyways, how do I make this about me? Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. There's just so much more that needs to happen. And that wasn't everybody that was homeless. There's a lot of guys out there that want the help that don't have access to it. And that is sad. That is sad. So, but yeah, it needs to be like a holistic approach. That's what I was getting at. It needs to be a holistic approach, not just, and Jen and I are going to talk about the different treatment therapies from back in the day, like what tribal therapy was, in which I have an experience in with tribal therapy. But it needs to be more than just what's hot right now. EMDR has been a big thing for trauma. And I've had a lot of success with EMDR. But if I didn't have that outpatient, that aftercare, that sober living, I wouldn't be successfully treated for my addiction. And yes. Wife in for the save. Cafe. Think big. Are you hanging out or? Yeah. Okay. All right. Love you, honey. So yeah. Ew, what the hell? She always gets drinks that taste like nuts. Not those nuts. I don't know what those nuts taste like. Tastes really weird though. But anyways, yeah. Yes, that's live behind me. They're still talking about their questions from yesterday. So, but once I see back there that they have a verdict, I'm going to bring in this for us to watch. We can listen to it for a second.
It's hard to tell because it is an increased presence of law enforcement around the courthouse. That's state police that maintain the buffer zone. So they are in the blue and electric. So those are the guys dressed in full blue. They have the hats. You usually see them with a crowd of supporters down here. The people in the white shirts, that is court staff, court security. Those are basically the bailiffs, as you would call them in other states. There is a increased number of them for this trial overall. Have I seen more of them in the past couple days? Yes. Have I seen more today than yesterday? No. But occasionally they step outside on the steps out there and they survey the crowd. But again, I did see state police just leave the courthouse moments before you came to me. Is that indicating anything? Is there any movement? There might be this hour. We just haven't gotten word yet.
We also factor in, as Vinny said, the person sort of prepping the crowd was out again, reminding people of the decorum instructions just right before we went to the last break last hour. So there could be something brewing. That's the bottom line. And but that's
they've been saying that for
you never know. Matt is going to tell us instantly, obviously, if he sees anything. Matt, thank you. We'll be checking in with you momentarily. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Eric Faddis. Eric, what's your take on this whole thing, factoring in the questions, et cetera?
Yeah, Ted, so these the questions are important because they can kind of give a glimpse sometimes into what the jury's thinking about, what direction the jury might be going. You know, here they're asking about the time frame of the offense because, you know, this was a series of events that happened over time, and the government has to make sure they charged it correctly in terms of the time of the offense. On top of that, it appears there's some obvious confusion about the lesser offenses and how the jury's supposed to go about, hey, if we don't decide guilty on one, what do we do with two? And then do we go down the line? That's a problem potentially for the court. And it's a problem potentially if there's a conviction. Some of this confusion could lead to grounds for appeal later in arguing that the jury didn't really know what they were supposed to do back there, which after a months-long trial is a tremendous issue for the court.
I want to play for you a bit of an interview that Vinny did with one of the sitting jurors, the deliberating jurors in Karen Reed 1. And in this, he's talking about the debate that they had over, when you factor in the questions of this one, it might be the same debate that this jury's having, and that is that manslaughter charge. Here's what he said to Vinny when he came forward a few months ago.
As you all were focusing in on that second count, what was the debate there? What were you looking at, and how close were you? What charge were you considering in that second count?
I believe that most of us felt that she was operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol, and that played into it. However, to some individuals,
I hate this guy.
There was reasonable doubt on the mechanism to which Mr. O'Keefe actually succumbed and died. So I think that had a play as well. So those were some of the factors that were being discussed in that jury room.
Eric, I mean, if you're watching this trial, you watched the first trial, if you
the
know
guy
this
who's
case,
speaking, he
that's
was
kind of what everybody has to grapple with, right? Was she drinking and driving? It's pretty safe to say, yeah. You know, given the video of her drinking at the two different bars.
Oh man, it was
Did she kill John O'Keefe? That's the issue. Did she actually hit him? And if she did that cause his death, or was it something else? It makes sense what they were dealing with last time. Is it too much of a leap to think that this jury might be grappling over the exact same scenario?
Ed, that's my read on it. Hearing this former juror from round one talk about the debate regarding causation, the causation of John O'Keefe's death. You know, the prosecution has to prove not only for that charge that Karen Reed was drunk driving, but also that she took measures to bring about the death of this man. And so, you know, perhaps there's some.
Cosmic Connection asks or says, this doesn't happen in Australia. I can't imagine massive crowds for the result of anything that wasn't super extreme. Even then, it might be like 20 people. Here's the deal, Cosmic, for real, is that this is more about the corruption and not like the actual crime that happened. That's why these crowds, because Karen is being falsely framed and accused, and it's true. She's being framed 1000%. We're going to hear a lot more about this in the future when indictments start coming down, possibly with the investigating officer and the things that he covered up, the things that he planted. Someone's going to jail later, and they're going to find the real killer of. But here's the thing: that they might not do that because the real killer is an ATF agent, but they don't want to say, "Oh yeah, we kind of knew that." So the feds would have to come in and do that, and they're working on it. But it's going to be a big deal. And I think that's why there's such the big crowds, because it's the corruption that people are protesting and not so much the wrongful accusation. But yeah, and it's America, right? We just do everything to excess, and We are crazy.
Possibly debating that same thing, that manslaughter charge. 18 hours, 30 minutes, and counting. Stay with us.
Brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students.
Oh my God, this doesn't happen here.
Detectives arrested 28-year-old
Should I cover this?
Brian Coberger. You could tell there was some off about
Should we like
stalking.
do some shows on it?
Forget about motive. We don't even have a connection.
This trial will be on Court TV.
And I pray that we have justice.
The Idaho College student murders trial. Live coverage begins this August.
You guys
only
tell
on
me.
Court TV.
Put a 3 in. No, not a 3. Put a 2 in the chat if we should cover it. You know, just like, you know, a little bit of coverage, not like daily coverage. Yeah, I already have 2 yeses. So yeah, we will. I mean, really, if just one of you guys. Yeah, it's going to be good. And it won't be disgusting like Lori Vallow was, you know, with the kids and stuff like that. I mean, I know it's disgusting. Young women were unalived, but it's just harder when it's kids. So yeah, cool. We will definitely patience, young grasshopper, patience. Where are we? Let's go back to this. Bam. And let me remove this. Bam. So yeah, we'll just keep waiting for the verdict, I guess, for a little bit. I don't know. I might shut it down for a little bit. And then Darcy's My Thumb is awful. It really is awful. Did I show you guys the pictures? Oh yeah, you guys seen the pictures. I posted them. Yeah, it's it really hurts. Let me I don't know if you've seen this, but yeah, that's my thumb, man. Ugh. It really got me. So basically the axe, see where it's like clipped right there, and I had my thumb out, and I was taking the axe and I was cutting kindling like off of a log, and I bam hit it. And I thought I just nicked it at first. It hurt, but then, and I asked for some paper towels, and when I put the paper towels over it, it just started, the paper towels just filled up with blood. And it was gnarly. Yeah, Ben's like, what'd you do that for? Jen. Take care. Jen, are you leaving? Okay, love you, Jen, and we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, it's crazy, right? But yeah, I hope I heal soon too, because I just can't afford to not be working this long. I already was struggling, so just being able to not tattoo or do my construction job. But I do have this job, so I'm going to be working on my other channel, doing some legal videos. I'm actually recording and editing right now. So this is the change. I don't know if you guys can see it. So now I have all my editing down here. And that's my editing studio. It's just right next to me. Oh, now I'm going to have to get this right again. It took me forever to get the right. I wish everything was a little higher, because see how it's chopping off my head. And so I'm standing with my legs like spread out a little bit. Yeah, I know. Make sure that looks good. Yep, cool. So yeah, but I like standing up. I think standing up's better because now if I get excited, I can be like, yeah. Rah, rah. So yeah. Let's see, what are you guys talking about here? Oh no, water pump isn't running. Yeah, just smack it, as Blue Bayou says, James JCC. My dad sawed off one finger and a piece of his thumb. Darcy's, check this out. My dad, when he worked at General Motors, got his hand caught into like these wheels. And this is like in 1974. And they sewed his hand. So like his whole hand got destroyed. They sewed his hand to his, I just got a cramp in my calf. To his belly like this, right? This is one of my tattoo things too. It's called Angel Saint Tattoo Gallery. Anyways, they sewed his hand to his belly, and they kept it there for like 6 months. His hand was sewed to his belly, and so I guess in Vietnam they used to sew it to your butt. So like say your hand got destroyed in an explosion or something, to try to save the hand, they would sew it to their butts. But a lot of it was hard for people like to the side because guys would want to pull it off. Like I meant, so they changed it to the tummy. And I remember like the first year after when they removed my dad's hand from his, and my dad's hands are all like kind of mangled, like they're just like stubs, right? Like on like round. But for like the first year, he would have to like shave his fingers because the belly hair. Oh, I want to watch this, see what this guy's saying. But yeah, like the belly hair, and he would use Nair. Remember, you guys remember Nair? Is Nair even still around? Let's see what this guy's saying real quick.
In the heat of the moment and the stress of the moment when taking care of a patient, you focus on taking care of the patient and not necessarily what others are saying in the background. So we looked at it, but we moved on from it.
You had those medical experts. You had the trooper who testified about the pirouette, as described by Alan Jackson. You had the experts that were brought in by the defense as well, called by the defense. Did any of this evidence convince you one way or the other about whether or not John O'Keefe was struck by a car, that the injuries were consistent with being struck by a car?
This is where we debated for hours. And so some of us believe that there was injuries there, and the injuries were after Karen had dropped him off, and therefore those two individuals were there at that location, and ultimately John O'Keefe was dead in the front lawn. And so for some of us, it was conclusive evidence that she was guilty. For some of us, though, the injuries were not consistent with a pedestrian struck per se. It wasn't the standard. I understand that there may be different mechanisms, but there was not enough evidence or testimony given on how it could be not the standard pedestrian struck with extremity injuries. And so it seemed inconsistent. So for some of us, it solidified that essentially it was not collision with the motor vehicle that ultimately caused the blunt force trauma to his head.
And which camp were you in? Did you believe it was the car, or did you believe it was something else?
I believe that it may be something else. So it was not, it created reasonable doubt as to what they were presenting as the evidence in the testimony.
All right, insights from the first jury from a sitting juror on that panel.
Now he has way more information.
Let's bring back in Eric Faddis. It's fascinating to hear what, because when you're absorbing the trial, you're wondering what's a jury going to really zone in on? And every jury is different. And this case was different. He referenced, well, first of all, I want your opinion on the I hit him, or did I hit him? This jury seemed to discount that. Does that make sense to you?
It does, and kind of what it illustrates for me is I used to be a prosecutor. Now I do criminal defense work, and oftentimes as a prosecutor, your case looks really good on paper. You're like, oh my gosh, I have this witness who's going to get up and say that the defendant admitted to doing this. I hit him. Slam dunk. Let's go do it. But then when you get in the heat of battle, when you're in that courtroom, it's not so black and white. And sometimes there are other considerations, like that juror mentioned, the chaos of the situation. Perhaps Karen Reed was trying to piece together in her own mind in real time what could have possibly happened. And did it come out as, did I hit him, or is it I hit him? These subtle nuances can make all the difference at trial, and prosecutors have to see that going in, that this might not be a lock just because on paper it looks really good.
The other issue that he brought up, the one that they did disagree on, was what we believe the jury may be disagreeing on right now, and that is the injuries to John O'Keefe. Were they caused by a pedestrian versus vehicle encounter? And this juror said they were going back and forth, and one of the things they felt like they didn't have was an alternative way to explain the bizarre injuries that are a little out of character for a normal collision of this sort. Well, in Karen Reed, too, the Commonwealth came out with more. They brought in Judson Welcher. He did the Blue Man Group sort of demonstration with his arm there, but also they went out of their way to try to address that. How could these atypical, it seems, injuries be delivered via a car?
I'm going to shut it down.
They did a better job. Would that be safe to say?
I just want you guys to know that I will be monitoring this, and if we do get a verdict, I'm going to go live pretty instantly. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. Please, it really helps the channel. Like if you can't tip or donate, which I did post the link, and I mean, what you can do if you want to help the channel is hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and we will be killing it. And we've already handshook on it. It's you and me. We have a deal. If you've watched more than a couple of my shows, please hit the subscribe button and please hit the like button. If not, there is a link in the channel for tips and donations. There's a link there, and all that money goes to providing a space for me to create content and for me and my family to live. Anyways, what else? Oh, yeah, the description of the channel. I have links there. Make sure you turn the notifications on because when we do get a verdict, I'm going live right away, like super fast. So I'm going to get the thumbnail and everything ready right now. And yeah, we'll be killing it. So, okay, guys, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Anti-Monkey Pants, for the super chat. And I did notice that there was a few donations. Thank you so much. I will make a list of those people and thank you guys on the next live. I really appreciate it for all the support and for you guys coming out. I will be doing a show every morning this week at least, and probably next week, and hopefully a nighttime show too. So it's going to be awesome, man. I love you guys. You guys tell someone you love them today. Tell someone they look pretty. Tell someone they look handsome. I know, just like Jen was saying earlier about like just a smile or a nod, like to a homeless person, that really helps. If you see a homeless guy and if you can't give to them, always make sure that they don't look high or drunk. If they're like kind of flailing around and have like, I would say maybe go buy them some food instead rather than giving them cash. I don't know, but yeah. Oh, this is another trial one I watched. Is this preppy party murder trial? I think they threw out. Oh no, that was a different one. But anyways, guys, you guys have an awesome day. Be kind to yourself, and I will see you guys really soon. This is After the Bars.
Oh, wow. Well, this has been a journey. This has been a journey for us, like a journey through from legal troubles to mental health issues, to my own struggles, to your struggles, you sharing your struggles with me. I appreciate you, and thank you for that. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the Morning Mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the Morning Mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. My people, from recovery to legal trials, hope and unity is what we're speaking about. It's a long way to the promised land. All my people understand that this land is our land. One nation under God, and ain't a thing changed. This ain't that, and ain't this, not the same thing. I'm about to bust a move, this a new groove, kinda like a mission, not the Blues Brothers. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the Morning Mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the Morning Mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. I can feel it, it's a new day. We've got a long way to go. Don't lose faith, don't let the mind games change you. What you see on TV is not always true. You could be anything you want to. I don't know about you, but I am not who I used to be. Not who I used to be. Not who I used to be. No. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the Morning Mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the Morning Mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows.